in shape 145. In shape. You know what I mean? So this is different from a Crawford coming up to 168, but we know his walk around weight is probably 170, 180.
Gervonta Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility.
Terence Crawford reportedly paid a surprise visit to Gervonta Tank Davis ahead of his upcoming showdown with Jake Paul, a meeting that immediately caught the boxing world's attention. According to insiders, Crawford offered Tank valuable advice on strategy, timing, and ring control, spending hours discussing fight IQ and mental preparation. The two champions reportedly shared techniques, exchanged insights about reading opponents, and even talked about what defines greatness inside the ring. Witnesses described their interaction as one of pure mutual respect, two masters of the craft connecting over the science of boxing. Crawford was said to be deeply impressed by Tank's focus and discipline, calling him one of the most naturally gifted fighters of his generation. Interestingly, Crawford also hinted that if Davis ever wanted to test himself against him someday, he'd be open to it, not out of rivalry, but out of respect for the sport itself.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes, and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow.
Man.
Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-count.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
It appears that Gervonta Davis has taken a page straight out of Terence Crawford's playbook. Crawford's recent training methods, particularly during his preparation for Canelo Alvarez, showcased his trademark stance switches, balance, and unpredictable rhythm. Now, Tank seems to be applying similar tactics. Recent training clips reveal Davis experimenting with advanced footwork, adjusting angles mid-combination, and even switching stances fluidly during exchanges, something rarely seen from him before. Observers have noticed a new layer of tactical depth in his movements. Many believe he's studying not only Crawford but also Jaron Bootsennis, another fighter known for his comfort fighting in both stances. This evolution suggests that Davis is preparing to bring an entirely new dimension to his fight with Jake Paul, one that mixes raw power with strategic unpredictability.
Right. This is scary. Gervonta Tank Davis is working on his versatility. We already know he has that ultimate equalizer, that special God-gifted one-punch knockout power. But he also can box. Gervonta Tank Davis, he's very durable, has a chin, never seen him visibly hurt. Gervonta Tank Davis also has great footwork, and foot placement. And here you see Gervonta Tank Davis' only shortcoming, pun intended, is his height. He's 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. But as you can see here, he's working on his versatility. He's now working on fighting orthodox. He's naturally a southpaw. Now he's working on fighting orthodox. Great switch hitters, no diddy, in the sport of boxing.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult made a bold statement regarding the upcoming fight. He warned that if Tank and Jake Paul treat their match like a glorified sparring session, it would be disastrous for both their careers. He explained that fans are expecting intensity, not a cautious exhibition. If the fight turns dull or looks staged, audiences would lose interest instantly, damaging both men's reputations beyond repair. Showbiz emphasized that with both fighters having massive fan bases that thrive on drama and excitement, the pressure is higher than ever to deliver a real war inside the ring. This can't be a friendly showcase, it needs to be a battle that proves both are serious about the sport.
Career ending. It could be career ending. Jake Paul can end his whole shit. That's the black. Tank can end Jake Paul's whole shit. And if that fight is meh, and it's just a sparring session that's tit for tat, their shit's over. because people gonna be pissed that it's exactly what they expected it to be. They can't do that. If they do, their career's ruined. Jake Paul career's ruined, and Tank. If they make it meh and just touch, both their brands suck. That's the black two sugars. You mess around in that bell ring, and you see little Tank, and you see big Jake, and he's throwing a jab, and little Tank making a miss, and bam, and y'all gonna be like, whoa, say I'm lying. Y'all know what? Yes, say I'm lying. Please say I'm lying. But y'all gonna be right there, cheering, because you ain't never seen nothing that damn bizarre. Even De La Hoya versus Shaq had headgear, and Shaq ain't a boxer. That right there, fireworks. Because you're going to be holding your breath, especially Tank fans. I'm going to be like, don't hit Tank. You're going to see Tank little ass legs. You're going to and big ass Jake, big legs, and big ass head. Watch. Y'all talk all that shit now because y'all love talking shit. Y'all love hating on things until you see it. Like women back in the 90s. I remember my sisters back in the 90s. You ain't that cute. You ain't, but all on your shit. That's what y'all do. Y'all talk shit, but y'all the first ones there.
Former world champion Keith Thurman offered a blunt but honest observation about the dynamic between Gervonta Davis and his critics. He said that the very fans who constantly criticize Tank are the same ones who never miss his fights. They claim he's overrated or overhyped, yet tune in every time he steps into the ring. Thurman believes this paradox reveals Tank's true star power. Even his haters can't look away. Their criticism, intentional or not, only fuels his fame. Every time they complain about his performances, they're still contributing to his success, keeping his name alive in the boxing conversation. In Thurman's eyes, Tank's ability to command that kind of attention, love or hate, is proof of his impact on the sport.
If you're really not happy with Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul's show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What's it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, you know, it's money-making purposes only. You know, it is what it is.
When Claressa Shields publicly said that the only fight that made sense for Gervonta Davis was against Shakur Stevenson, Tank didn't appreciate it. His response was sharp and cold: "No one has the right to tell me what to do." That statement came from a deeper emotional place. After his draw with Lamont Roach, Tank faced a wave of online criticism, with many fans calling him overrated or distracted. It clearly left a mark. His message now is clear: he's done trying to satisfy the crowd. He fights on his own terms, for his own legacy, not to please fans or pundits. Shields' comment may have struck a nerve, but it also reminded the world that Tank Davis is his own man, driven by personal conviction rather than outside expectations.
It says that, you know, pretty much the only people that can beat him is Shakur Stevenson, and I don't know who else he said. She thought that at a point in time that Devin Haney could beat him, but now she doesn't believe that. But so really the only fight that there is for Gervonta Davis is Shakur. What a mighty, mighty convenient argument. And Gervonta Davis responded, and basically his response was, "Come on, girl, stop talking about me so much because you're making me feel like I'm special." Right? So he pretty much just, you know, kind of blows it off. But I really think that there's something much deeper going on here, and it is that this, and I said it again, I said it in another video, I'll say it in this one, the Bud Buddies. The Bud Buddies are a crew of boxers that all hang around and worship Terence Bud Crawford. And the main two members of it besides the people that are actually in Terence Crawford's camp, as fighters are Shakur Stevenson and Clarissa Shields, without a doubt. Clarissa Shields is a huge backer of Terence and a huge backer of Shakur Stevenson. At the end of the day, the only thing she really cares about is what's in the best interest of Shakur Stevenson. And anything and everything she say is angled that way to get Gervonta Davis to do something that Shakur Stevenson wants him to do, which is really do all the hard work and then be there for Shakur Stevenson to become a star at the end of it. I'm telling you, man, I believe that to the bottom of my soul, that is the same plan that Terence Crawford ran on Aerospin.
A major concern surrounding this matchup is the glaring weight difference. Jake Paul naturally walks around near the cruiserweight limit, while Gervonta Davis competes between lightweight and super lightweight, a difference of roughly 60 to 70 pounds. Boxing's weight classes exist for a reason, to maintain fairness and safety. If these kinds of mismatched fights become normalized, it could undermine the sport's entire structure. Critics fear that calling it an exhibition doesn't remove the risk the physical imbalance could lead to dangerous consequences. Whether it's official or not, every punch will still carry real impact.
It's like this with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight, and those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser, because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, they thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather, but the difference is with his mentor Floyd, he really did fight a lot of champs in their prime. As Tank, well, not really. The most notable fight he's recently had that the people actually wanted was the Ryan Garcia fight, and the only reason he took that fight was because everything was on his terms. And other than the Ryan fight over the last couple years, it's either been people who aren't in his weight division, which he's pulling up, or fighters ranked in the lower half of the top 10 lightweight list. The fights people have truly wanted to see just have never materialized, and simply that's why people criticize him. If the likes of Crawford never fought Spence or Usyk never fought Fury or Joshua, they would have caught the same level of flack. The reason why fighters like them are applauded is because generally they take on whatever challenge is in front of them. Tank instead, his whole career has bobbed and weaved around the most significant challenges that the people actually want to see, unless he has everything his way.
The stakes of Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis go far beyond the fighters themselves. This matchup could determine the future direction of boxing. If Jake Paul wins, it may open the floodgates for more crossover events between influencers and professional boxers, further pulling attention away from traditional title fights. It could shift the sport towards social media-driven entertainment, where views, clicks, and chaos matter more than belts and rankings. However, if Tank wins convincingly, it might restore balance and remind fans what true skill and discipline look like. Still, there's a strange magnetism to this event. Many fans who've grown bored of conventional boxing find Jake's fights chaotic and entertaining, unpredictable in ways that traditional bouts rarely are. Adding Tank into that chaos makes the fight electric. Whether people watch for respect or curiosity, they're watching, and that's what makes this moment so defining.
But assuming there's no rehydration clause, which I don't believe there is, he'll probably weigh around 215 pounds in the ring. That means there's a sort of a 60 to 70 pound difference between the two men in the ring on fight night, which is absolutely enormous. There are weight classes for a reason in boxing, and this is the sort of thing that is typically not allowed or permitted. And like I said in my intro, it goes to the heart of that key question in boxing, which is how big is too big? It's the reason that the pound for pound list exists, where we kind of imagine if everybody was the same size, who's the best, who's number one? And it's a debate that rages on and on and on. And so when I see a fight like this, I think the hardcore boxing fans, generally speaking, have felt frustrated by it. Yes, because we want Gervonta Davis as part of the actual sport, competing for world titles against the other elite guys in his weight class. But also because if he gets knocked out and loses to Jake Paul, it creates this illusion that Jake Paul's much better than he actually is. And so I guess the question for me is, can Gervonta Davis beat Jake Paul, or will Jake Paul simply be too massive? Can Jake Paul use his size, or will Gervonta Davis simply be too skilled? What's the answer here? And in trying to answer this, I looked to history. And there's one fight that immediately popped out of my mind and I thought, I wonder what the size difference was there. In fact, it may even be more significant. And it was, and the small guy won. Some of you might be thinking about it right now. It's when David Haye took on the monster, the absolutely ginormous human being, Nikolai Valuev. I think it took place around 2009. So at the time, I was literally a teenager. I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, and I'd fully bought into this David versus Goliath story. But I think it's an excellent example here to draw comparisons between the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight to try and understand whether or not this is a good template and blueprint to try and predict and understand what the size difference might look like in the ring. Now, David Haye was 6'3" and was 217 pounds for the Valuev fight, whereas Valuev was 7 foot tall and weighed 316.
Promoter Eddie Hearn offered perhaps the sharpest take on the entire situation. Boxing and entertainment are two completely different things, he said, and when you mix them, the sport loses its identity. Hearn argued that the Davis vs. Paul fight isn't about genuine competition, it's about attention and profit. He warned that if fans begin to accept these types of matchups as the norm, it could permanently harm the credibility of the sport. As someone who's built some of the biggest events in modern boxing, Hearn's words carry weight. He's seen firsthand how easily showmanship can overshadow championship-level fights, and he's worried this could be another step in that direction.
Purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy, thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is, let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effectively.
Former champion Sean Porter shared a more grounded perspective on Jake Paul's rise. He admitted that most fighters agree to fight Jake for the payday, not for pride. The money is tempting and few can resist. However, Porter pointed out that Jake still hasn't earned true respect within boxing circles. The admiration he gets is for his marketing genius, not his skill. Real recognition, Porter said, comes only from fighting and defeating elite opponents, something Jake hasn't done yet. Still, this fight reveals a lot about where boxing stands today. For Jake, it's a chance to test himself against a real world champion. For Tank, it's an opportunity to extend his brand beyond traditional boxing. Both are marketing powerhouses, but their paths are opposite. Jake builds fame through spectacle. Tank builds legacy through skill. When they meet in the ring, those two worlds will collide, and the outcome will decide which one defines the future of the sport.
Always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, you know, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round, I don't know what it is, but, you know, I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business.
That wraps up today's coverage. The meeting between skill and spectacle is closer than ever, and fans are divided on what it means for boxing's soul. One thing is certain, whether this fight elevates the sport or exposes its fractures, everyone will be watching. Stay tuned.
I like when it's all said and done and when you guys go off, they go into the next man. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you. That's the problem with this sport. It's like what Jake Paul did, man, it's crazy, but people getting paid off of it.
Yeah.
So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost, unlike other sports. For an example, with football, we come from the hitting days.
Yeah.
Can't hit nowadays. You know what I mean? So boxing hasn't lost its essence. You know, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like I don't know the official one, they're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that.